can't tell you how wonderful it feels that when somebody feels for you, you don't feel abandoned. And that's how I was feeling. I was feeling abandoned.
That man is Jorge Escamilla. He is a veteran who deserved better than he got. Good evening, everyone. I'm Shelton Dotson.
And I'm Patricia Maese. Until a few months ago, Mr. Escamilla was one of thousands of veterans living on the streets of America. In 2010, there were roughly 80,000 homeless veterans in the United States. Today, there's half as many, but that is still a far cry from the Obama administration's goal of 0 veterans without a place to call home. The numbers in the borderland are a bit better. According to the Coalition for the Homeless, there were 211 veterans living on El Paso streets in 2012. Today, that number is down to 85. In November, Las Cruces announced it had eliminated veteran homelessness. The city of El Paso says it wants to get there soon. CBS 4 at 10's Courtney Shoneman is live tonight with the emotional story of how Jorge Escamilla is overcoming his circumstances.
Escamilla spent 10 years in the service, both in the Air Force and the Army National Guard. But then one event forever changed his life. Then he found the American GI Forum, which swooped in and saved him.
I was here in El Paso, didn't have any money, couldn't get anywhere, couldn't go anywhere else.
Jorge Escamilla went through a divorce and returned to El Paso after being gone for 40 years. He expected to come back to the home his grandfather willed him.
My grandmother put a lien against the house, won the house, and then at her death, she gave it to my cousin, who in turn sold it.
With nowhere to go and no money, he wound up at the rescue mission.
It took me a week to get up the courage to say, yes, I'm homeless. I didn't want to tell anybody. I was kind of embarrassed.
He says that's when the American GI Forum found him.
Within 3 days, they got me into an apartment. They got me a bed. I can't tell you how wonderful it feels that when somebody feels for you, you don't feel abandoned.
The GI Forum was formed after El Paso got $3 million in search funding from the federal government. Their goal is to help get vets off the streets and into housing.
It makes me feel great because as a veteran myself, we know the struggles that we faced. So we tried, to me, that's a success story because, you don't give up. There's always people out there that cares for you.
It's the organization Escamilla says saved him.
They just kind of swooped in and took control. They helped me. They helped me get an apartment. I didn't have anything. I didn't have a bed. I had nothing. I just buried the clothes on my back.
The El Paso Coalition for the Homeless says of the current 85 homeless vets in El Paso, 9 of them are already working with agencies to get placed in housing.
Very shortly, we're going to have 76 and not 85 once those 9 are taken care of. And then the other 47 are currently in shelters and we're working with them.
The $3 million in federal assistance runs out next October, but the Homeless Coalition is already working on finding other sources of funding to continue working to end veteran homelessness. As for Escamilla, he says he's now working on getting a loan to start a small consulting business. Live in the studio, Courtney Shoneman, CBS 4 at